Hi Sonali, how are you?
Yeah, hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am good, thank you. Can you tell us something about yourself?
I'm Sonali Mangal and I hail from Rajasthan, Bikaner, and I'm an engineering graduate, passed out in 2010 from Rajasthan Technical University, and I hold almost 10 years of experience in manual testing majorly in various domains such as gaming, telecom, and web-based applications and mobile-based applications as well as desktop-based applications. And right now, I'm currently working with my client who deals in brand protection projects majorly.
Mhm.
And I hold certifications like Scrum Master and Agile Test Professionals, and also CCNA in my internship.
Okay, that's great. So, what are your roles and responsibilities? Are you working as a QA lead, senior QA, or QA manager? And what are your daily roles and responsibilities?
Okay, so I am currently deployed at my client, and there at my client, I look after 3 to 4 QA engineers, and also I am sole responsible for testing of a tribe. So also again, I'm acting as a lead, and also I'm also a QA engineer in my tribe. So
Mhm.
both the roles I'm doing.
Okay, so when you are acting as a lead, so maybe let's consider there are four
Mm-hmm.
to five members in your team, and your team is given one responsibility for testing some
Mm-hmm.
particular feature or product and
Mm-hmm.
provide the sign off. So, what are
Mm-hmm.
the different criterias that you provide at the time of sign off, and how will you give the sign off?
Okay, so um, can we stop for 2 minutes?
Yeah,
Okay, we'll move ahead with this.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Tell me.
Uh, let's suppose I'm taking my real life scenario. What I deal with here is like we have few functionalities and bug fixes in the product, because I deal in a product based I'm working with the product based client right now. Okay, so we keep on improving and we keep on adding new functionalities. So what we have is we have the release notes. We release notes, and we also have the existing bugs and their statuses in while we are ready to test, right? And what is the scope of the testing? And then as soon as the pre-production or the staging environment is ready, the testers are assigned the tasks. Actually, I myself assign the task, and I because we are following the Jira, so I create test executions myself for them, and I divide the task, each task for each member. Okay, and once the task is done, I have a fixed timeline for that, and there is follow ups, and the timeline is finished. As soon as it is finished, I have a click through all over the application.
Mhm.
Before I say that the testing is complete, I have a click through of the whole application for me.
Mhm.
Okay, and when it is done, I report to the developers that the testing has been completed. And also again at the same time, we have a person who performs the automation, so we also have the automation results with us.
Mhm.
Okay, so automation results says passed if there is something which is bugging at that time. So we have a conclusion for that, we come to a conclusion, and then the sign off is provided along with all the reports,
Mhm.
what was the results, and what was the conclusions of that. And if there is a bug which is found in the pre-release and it is also reproducible at the production, it is the release is stopped until the bug is fixed. So
Great. Now consider a situation where you don't have the automation or end-to-end automation available for
mm,
the product that is to be signed off.
mm,
Right? You have
mm,
a team of four QA members. You have assigned tasks to them in Jira, and they have
mm,
worked on all those tasks and they have completed the testing.
mm,
How will you validate? How will you ensure that everything has been tested thoroughly by them?
mm. I suppose if everything is tested thoroughly by them, and
Mhm.
then a quick check by me should do the task.
Mhm. Okay. Now consider a situation that you are doing a quick check, but there was
Mhm.
some particular test case, some particular
Mhm.
corner case that was supposed to be
Mhm.
tested by one of your team member. It was there in the test
Mhm.
cycle as you are following Jira. So it was there in their
Mhm.
test cycle, but somehow he was feeling bored. It might be a Friday or holiday season
Yeah,
coming
right.
in. So he somehow skipped that test case and
Mhm.
he has marked it passed. Now, how will you validate that?
Mhm.
Whether whenever your team member are telling that it has been tested thoroughly, they have actually
Mhm.
went and tested it practically rather than just
Mhm.
speaking it.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm. Mhm. Uh, so, although this situation has never arrived in front of me, but still, I would love to give it a thought.
Hmm.
I mean, what as a lead we can do is we can only, trust on them majorly,
Hmm.
because otherwise it is just a double work for
Hmm.
us, and the release is going to be postponed and
Hmm.
it will get delayed, right? If any such situation arises, we can have the kappa process, corrective action and preventive action process, and we can move ahead with that.
Hmm.
Obviously it is going to get hampered, the release is going to get hampered, and we might have a very big bug in the production, but that's why the automation results are needed, right? We
Hmm.
need to have an automation test through this.
Right. So in this kind of situation where you don't have automation and you are supposed to ensure you are a lead, you are supposed to ensure
Mhm.
that whatever your four team members are telling, they have actually went ahead and done the testing. So over here, there are two things that you can do. You can
Mhm.
incorporate in your process. One thing is before sign off, before doing
Mhm.
your testing by validation click and all
Mhm.
those by your end, prior to 30 minutes, you can just ask them to get on a call and you can tell
Mhm.
them just randomly, you can pick up few of the test scenarios that are there in the test cycle and you can tell them, okay,
Mhm.
tell me how have you tested this thing? Tell me how you have tested this
Mhm.
thing. Show me the test data
Mhm.
for this particular test case. So this is how you can
Mhm.
validate. Second thing is
Okay.
you can ask them to give a demo of some particular feature which is more
Mhm.
important from the business point of view. Let's say you had five stories
Okay.
and out of
Mhm.
that, the second story holds a very important thing in the your UAT release. So you can ask them to give you a demo of second story. So that is again a random user story you have picked up. They don't
Mhm.
know that out
Mhm.
of five user stories, which user story you are going to take. So that's how you can
Mhm.
take. See, in the corporate life, this is good that at least based on human being or based on from character aspect, you are trusting your team members and
Mhm.
you are aware, you are taking it for granted that they are properly working. But let's say we are also being paid from our client, right? So they are providing
Mhm.
us bread and butter. So we need to be very sure whenever we say that, yes, those
Mhm.
four members have completed the testing, right? So it seems you are a
Mhm.
very polite human person, right? So you'll have to update yourself based on the corporate situations at time because there are chances when people might play with the emotions, right? You don't know.
Right, right, right.
And then let's say there are 2 or 3 years of kind of experienced people. They don't know that out of 120 test cases, five test cases they might skip, and those only might come up as a bug
Mhm.
to you. So ultimately,
Right, right.
impression will go down, right? But no worries.
Mhm.
Your answer was also partially correct. No, no issues at all with that.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Now, do you create any daily status report or weekly status report?
Yeah, so we have a daily status report,
Hmm.
and this is like my practice as a lead. This is not part of the Jira. I mean the Agile Scrum that we are following. So this is part of my activity. So
Hmm.
I have it at its SharePoint.
Hmm.
So we have all the tasks for daily tasks which are assigned. So let's suppose this is the new year and I've started it, and
Hmm.
I have written few tasks. I've discussed all the tasks for all the team members, and then I've written it. So we have an expected date when it should get completed. And as a practice of my own, I do it. I
Hmm.
mean, if the expected date is passed, I mean, we have the daily stand-ups, and we discussed all about the tasks. Okay, so if the expected date is passed, so as my own improvement in the team, I raise it as a kappa process. Okay, so so that the team can work finely, and we can have a quality product. For that, we can have a quality team. So I do that.
Okay. So which are the different components that you have in your weekly status report?
So right now we are not having any weekly status reports. This is the daily status report that I
Daily
have.
status report. Okay.
Yeah.
So daily you are updating it, and daily you are taking the updates from your team members and you are
Yeah.
keeping it updated.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
must be one central.
Apart from the stand up ceremony,
Mm-hmm.
I have a daily stand up with my QAs also, like a daily catch up.
Okay, okay. So what is the duration of the daily stand-ups that you have?
So the daily stand up lasts for 15 minutes, more, not more than that. It
Mm,
might extend to 5 minutes or so, not more than that.
okay. And how everyone is giving the updates in that daily sync up, right? In 5 minutes, let's say there are five members. So how
Mhm.
are you making sure that you get a proper updates of what they have done?
If any member has a lengthy task, or he has some confusions and details to discuss, so
Mm,
I keep a call just after that, as
mm,
per my calendar and their calendar availabilities.
mm,
I keep a call, so that nobody gets hampered, just because of one person's task.
Yeah, very true. Okay, great. Mhm. Hmm. So, as you are a part of agile ceremonies, so there would
Mm-hmm.
be a retrospective meeting in which you would be
Mm-hmm.
taking part.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
any important or any concrete suggestions or improvement areas you have mentioned in your retrospective meetings, which have been
Mm-hmm.
incorporated by the entire team, and it has
Mm-hmm.
impacted your team in a very positive manner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there was a case a few months back. So what used to happen was, the develop we have we are aware, every one of us are aware about the dev boxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the developer is working on the dev boxes, and he has passed a story which is ready for test, okay, and it is not available on the staging environment. Now he has asked me to test it on the dev box itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now when I test it on the development environment, any bug I cannot report, because he can change the code immediately, and that
Mm-hmm.
is that is impacting my testing. The bugs are getting missed and they are not getting reported, right? there
Yes.
is no there is no evidence for that. So
Mm-hmm.
in the retrospective, I raised the point that we need to have a process where we release the stories, functionalities to the testing environment, otherwise they won't be tested. I cannot move ahead with the testing. I can provide us feedback. I can have an early look, but I won't be able to test them before they are, if they are not released on the staging environment. So this was duly accepted, and it was duly, implemented in the very next sprint.
Mm-hmm. But don't you think this should have been a part of the very first sprint itself, that we need a dedicated QA or staging
Mm-hmm.
environment, right? Rather than just
Yeah,
testing.
yeah, yeah. This was the part. But since there was a lot of chaos in the, actually it was a merger of the two systems, so there was a chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So and if one is working on the client environment, so we need to have a little bit of flexibility as per the client.
Mm-hmm.
So hence,
Right, right. Okay, great. So you gave this point and it was incorporated. Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And also when there are some stories which
Mm-hmm.
are like very very lengthy stories, and it one story has a lot of functionality in it, so we need to also break down the stories in smaller sub stories, so
Mm-hmm.
that every sub story can have their its own test cases, and we can create a test suite for that, so which is usable in all the other functionalities wherever it is applicable. So this was also incorporated.
Yes. Okay, great. Good suggestions. Okay. Now,
Thank
mhm, yeah. Now coming to the next question. Let's say you were assigned some, or your team was given some task of testing something, right? Testing a, let's say, feature A, right? And now they have
you.
missed that bug, and everyone is blaming you because you were leading that particular team. You are leading that particular team. So how will you react in
Mhm.
this kind of situation? The bug has been missed and the client
Mhm.
has reported it's a valid issue. right, which has been missed.
Mm-hmm.
So how will you
Mm-hmm.
ensure? How will you take? What will you do in this kind of situation?
Okay. Um,
It happens.
I've
No?
Yeah,
You
it
are-
happens. I've been lucky in that case. It
Okay.
didn't happen yet. So I might not be, I might not know the actual steps, but here again, I would take again the example of the kappa process.
Mhm.
So we need to have a very corrective action. We
Mhm.
need to have all the fishbone diagram, whatever theories are there, we need to apply it. And I, as a lead, obviously I am to be blamed, right? But
Mhm.
I have to have the one to one with the person, why he did that, why this incident happened,
Mhm.
and then presenting all the all the documents and the corrective actions that I have taken to the
Mhm.
quality team, you know,
Mhm.
so as to prevent it for the next time. But first of all, one has to be acceptable in that case.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Fine. Now let's consider there is a team member in your team, right? And he's not performing well. You know there are a lot of defects which can be caught by, in the application. The application is not stable. Rest of your team members are able to find those defects, but he or
Mhm.
she is not able to find that defect. Then how will you deal
Mhm.
with this kind of situation?
So what I would be doing in this situation is I would be having a regular catch up with that person, and I would try to figure out what is actually causing the issue, right?
Mhm.
And if we can also, before moving to the PIPs kind of things, we need to give the person a chance to
Mhm.
improve, and some particular tasks can be assigned to him,
Mhm.
and let's see if he performs okay in those tasks. If the tasks are not being performed anyhow, and the person doesn't seem positive about them, so we can take up an action against the person
Mhm.
as per the management.
Mhm. And you will have also a one-on-one conversation with him. You'll try
Yeah,
to
yeah,
know what kind of,
yeah. Investigate, yeah.
yeah, those things are there. Okay. Now, in your resume, in the areas of expertise, you have mentioned that you are doing specialized testing, right? So,
Mhm.
what kind of specialized testing you are doing?
So they were specialized testing were majorly when I was working on the mobile applications, and they were majorly gaming applications.
Okay.
So there were virtual reality simulators and
Hmm.
casino games.
Right. So, those specialized testing you are telling because those were a part of game testing you are doing, these kind of.
Game testing, as in specialized testing. So I would like to mention my project here. So my project was a simulator, and it was for a very particular domain, which is not very common. It was horizontal drilling, directional drilling project. So which is I mean very specific and very specialized area. So
Mm-hmm.
which is very not very common.
Mm-hmm.
So hence I mentioned it. So we used to have cases and scenarios as per the life situation in that case.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Uh, in the summary, in the objective section of your resume, it has been mentioned that you are performing uh, security testing. You have worked on security testing and various testing frameworks you have knowledge of. So, what kind of security testing you are performing?
It was majorly for the security projects. Basically,
Mhm.
they were surveillance cameras and the application supporting them. So I would not say it could be a proper security testing, because security testing is a very different field, right?
Yes, yes. Mm.
So so that's why I think I need to I need to you know edit it.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. So it's good that at least we touched up on this like kind of
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it
right,
is mentioned. So I
right.
was thinking if you have worked on Bubsuit, so we can have some questions on them. Right. Okay, no
Mm-hmm.
worries. You can update. It's in the objective section where you have mentioned security
Okay,
testing. Yeah.
okay.
Okay. So there is one more statement in the areas of expertise, like you have log analysis using including Dockers. So what does that mean?
Mm. Uh, okay, so while I was working on the telecom domain projects, we had Dockers and Kubernetes concept there.
Mm,
So it was again an API testing project, but
mm,
since we used to get issues and the client needed actually the reason behind it.
mm.
So the I used to capture the logs via Dockers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was
So
there
I
any?
have only a limited knowledge of capturing the logs in the Dockers and understanding the logs.
Mhm. So what is Docker?
Dockers and containers. Yeah.
Docker and containers. Yeah. So what is Docker
Mm.
and what is the significance of using Docker?
So when we say that uh, uh, I mean, when we say that the environment should be same on the testing and development and the production, the
Mhm.
environment should be same, so that there is no difference in the application, the performance of the application. There, I'm just summarizing it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Here comes the concept of the Dockerization and containerization. This is the concept basically behind it, so as
Okay.
to run multi-threading and having the same environment everywhere.
Mhm. Okay. So let this be an open question for the people who are watching this video. What do you mean by Docker and why do you need Dockers from DevOps or from test automation point of view, right? So please mention your answers in the comment section of this video. Okay. So moving to the next question. Mhm. Okay. Okay. How do you upgrade yourself? Any new tool or technology that you have learned in last 3 months?
Yeah, so I'm working on my API testing techniques because I haven't touched that part much, and it is like everywhere API testing is required. So
Mhm.
working on Postman and then also learning automation for that.
Mhm. So when you say you have done manual API testing for some system, so how do you test some particular API manually?
So I have used Swagger. So
Okay.
in Swagger,
Very
there
good.
is nothing much for a tester
Yes.
to do.
Mm-hmm. Right,
So
right. So,
that's where I have to work. I have to work on Postman. So that's why I'm learning it.
mhm. Okay. Which are the important aspects that you will consider for discussion during sprint planning meeting?
In sprint planning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh, so basically, sprint planning is an open platform for majorly the product owners and the team to decide on. If I'm the Scrum Master, if you are asking so.
Mm.
I
If you
mean,
are, yeah, Scrum Master, or let's say you are a QA lead, right? So,
mhm.
which are the different aspects you will discuss with your team during sprint planning meeting?
Okay.
Mm,
So while sprint planning meeting, what I will see is what all the stories are being assigned
mm,
and what are the story points being mentioned by the team, and also if the story I mean before going for the sprint planning, I
mm,
would like to have a sprint grooming session, backlog grooming session
mm,
myself, and so that I can come up with some points in the planning, so as not to waste a lot of time for the team, right? So in the backlog grooming only, I will mark up some points and I'll raise it in the planning meeting, so that if the story is lacking some descriptions, and if the story is lacking some kind of artifacts or the wireframes,
mm,
so that can be provided. And what any suggested story points from my team, from my side, that would we would be putting them up, and that can be discussed with the developer in the sprint planning meeting, so
mhm,
that we have a collective kind of thing. And also if a tester is getting overburdened,
mm.
so the burden has to be the stories has to be moved to the next sprint and so on. So such feedbacks would be there from my side.
Great. Okay. Now, let's say you have to give some testing effort or estimation for some particular user story. There is a user story A, which has got five acceptance criteria points.
Mhm.
right? And you need to provide the test estimation for that particular user story. So which are the different factors that you will consider at the time of user story estimation?
Okay, so for that, we need to see how big is the story, and we'll get an idea by looking up at the story, right? If it is a UI thing and it's only a front end thing, so it shouldn't take much time. So I guess one story point or two story point is enough for that. Okay, and if it is also functional and UI and it includes backend. I mean, it depends. If it's only functional, it is backend, or it is so. It would vary from point to point.
Okay, now
And
consider.
also,
Yes, please go
yeah.
ahead. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I actually forgot what I was saying. So,
Okay. So let me help you to recall. If the user story contains some non-functional testing aspects, then how will
mhm.
you estimate that story?
Okay, okay. Non-functional again would have its types, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing the performance testing? Kind of testing are we doing, and what dependencies on the technology and tools are there? So
Mm-hmm.
depending on that, the estimation has to be there.
Mm-hmm. Let's say there is some performance testing related thing that you have to perform for that story. So how will you
Mhm.
provide the estimation?
Okay, so but I do not have performance testing experience, so I
Mhm.
might not be able to answer that. I might require your highlights and guidance
Mhm.
over here.
No worries. So let's say if you don't have performance testing, so what you can do is you can involve development team and you can ask them if via database scripting or some kind of stored procedure, they can help you with some kind of
Mm-hmm.
data with the help of which you
Mm-hmm.
can test the threshold limit, right? So that's how
Mm-hmm.
you can take their help in an open forum, and
Okay.
it's a sprint planning meeting and all those where those
Mm-hmm.
people are also there. So everyone will come to know, okay,
Right.
this kind of
Mm-hmm.
expertise you don't have within your team. So you are
Mm-hmm.
taking a help, and agile is one team, one more,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah. Right. Right.
this is a smarter way to approach, and they
Okay.
won't deny also directly because you
Mm-hmm.
are approaching
Mm-hmm.
them in presence of everyone, right? So
Right.
that's how you can
Right.
get their help,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Okay, Sonali, I am done with the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
So not in particular. Only your feedback would be good.
Yeah. So I think you have got good knowledge, and the scenario-based questions were also answered very correctly by you. Apart from that,
Mm.
except two or three minor points that you need to add in the answer, rest all looks totally fine, totally good, and you should definitely approach for interviews. I think you'll get selected very soon, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.